Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking. A warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. It might be why I am taking this summer day to go underneath the treetops in the shade, and why I also have my hood hanging from my actual head from a coat. And that is because it's predicted to rain sometime soon. I have an important call that I need to get to at 6 o'clock my time, which means that I have to get this done as soon as possible. The rain was supposed to subside at 5, and it's about 2:30, I think? I don't know. Something on those lines. Not entirely sure. Oh, hang on a second. There's a man with a dog and the family there. I'm going to move over this way. Walking Wednesday and dogs do not mix very well. But yeah, so I'm preemptively under the cover of vegetation, sometimes under more stuff than just that, and also have my coat with me. That's the actual coat that prevents stuff from rain from becoming an issue. Because if you remember last time I got caught in a massive downpour, it was not fun. I didn't have too many clothes to change into, so I just had to rest there under a blanket trying to get warm again. So yeah, taking all the steps that I possibly could to counteract that at the moment. Okay, on to the week itself, because it's been another interesting week. It's been another busy week, and I kind of actually was in a bit of a panic yesterday because there was an issue that I had with my computer in terms of not only the connection but also with trying to get video downloaded. Basically everything was failing, and the storage was once again a problem. As for the reason it was a problem, I will get to in a second. But I was panicking because I'm still in need of a particular script that a different work client is supposed to have sent me for a video, because I can't really do too much of the editing of the video without the script, and it's also up to me to arrange for an appropriate VA for that presentation video. And I've obviously had nothing to present to them, despite the fact that I put an announcement out and people very quickly expressed their enthusiasm. So yeah. Sorry, I thought that was dynamite for a second there. I want to start singing TNT. Good old parodies. I've also been writing a new parody actually, because it was Piccolo Day yesterday. So there's a bit of a teaser. If I release a Happy Piccolo Day song, and that was the reason. I didn't know until Masako mentioned it. That was yet another plan that had to go by the wayside because I was trying to get some actual job editing out of the way first before everything just kind of crumbled. So now I guess onto... No, you know what? Not onto the reason it was crumbling yet. That I will save for last. So during the actual week itself, the other issue that I had was essentially pushbacks. I can't tell if I'm still recovering and catching up from the time away in Exeter or not. I don't think I am, because that was ages ago. But yeah, there was stuff that got delayed from there, but also a ton of new releases at once. Guardians episode 8, Finding Shadi's Old Friend episode 6, and then also things like Minecraft Legends, My Street 5 years later, that came back. Obviously not on YouTube as of yet. That's nothing I want to process. The VODs for it. Oh my, oh me, oh my. Remember the last time I was so stressed about getting those videos out and the reactions done, because they all come out on the same day, and I was like, oh well, let's go ahead and see how this will pan out. But yeah, I'm glad, because also the video, it turns out, is not actually due until next week, which is why I was panicking before about the scripts not being sent. And now I was like, well, okay, at the least after today I can actually crack on with that a little bit more. But yeah, as far as stuff goes, I actually had other reviews that were planned all the way back from a while ago, but yeah, I want to make sure that this stuff is fresh and new, especially when people have done. Oh, Ballroom Pops as well. Ballroom Pops returned after a couple of months of hiatus. So, actually, maybe even 3. Oh yeah, it was 3, because last episode was Valentine's Day, so nearly 3 months. Yeah. So basically a lot of stuff, and I had other reviews planned. There's another Minecraft roleplay that I want to tackle, because it's one that I apparently actually saw the first episode of years and years ago, but I forgot all about it. And its premise is so interesting to me that I really want to give it a go. So that's the plan currently. As for my plan, which way should I go? Because there's a lot of... The community cafe is up there. I mean, not that I'm going to actually sit down at it, but you know what? Might as well see what it's like. Considering that the community most of the time doesn't seem to go this way towards the cafe. I don't know. Promise won't spend any money out here. That's one of the things. My nan, as soon as she saw me, offered me some money. She does that sometimes. I was like, no thanks, it's fine, I've got enough. And then I was like, are you sure you don't want anything when you're going out? Well, I mean, I'll be filming. It's not like I've really stopped anywhere. I've got food on the way back. So, yeah. This is why I'm not my brother, otherwise he'd be like, oh, okay. But yeah, that happens sometimes. I don't know. Well, where was I? Oh yeah, pushbacks. So that Minecraft roleplay in particular, I don't know if I'm going to do that today or not, because Aiden also wants to stream Minecraft Legends. Maybe I should be like, well, that's not really another fixed thing. Can we push that back? Or does he have work? I'm not actually sure. Because the other issue, of course, is that when we played Minecraft Dungeons, the Q-Tip Wolf Tribe only got to really name itself. It didn't get to cement its position in the historical place that is the Minecraft Dungeons game, which people still definitely play. Come to think of it, Dungeons and Legends seem to be two very similar games in their construction. I wonder if they're connected in some way. MatPat, you should get on that. Yeah, I don't know. I also got to do some theories of my own, because I said that AFME might be a thing. But yeah, as it turns out, not very much of a chance. And I did use the coronation holiday to my advantage, because I guess now it's time to talk about the main thing that I wanted to mention, and the reason that stuff got pushed back, and the reason that my storage was so full, and that is because we filmed a brand new episode of Drama Club. So yeah, I was thinking, because Aiden mentioned to me that he was feeling guilty and sad about the fact that his channel has not uploaded in 2 months, ever since the Fallen Angels season 2 episode 6 part 2 came out, which admittedly is quite a good video to leave people on in that hiatus, because of the way it actually ends. And despite the fact that I think the ending would have been more powerful if the last little bit was trimmed out, it's still overall fantastic in its composition. Even if certain people who I watched it with recently were disgruntled by my double bluff as pertains to the death of a certain character. Which was interesting. You know what? I'm not going to talk about Drama Club yet. Another detour, another thing that came out this week. Rip in the Dark. I mention that now because it seems that from that episode onwards, Emily has developed a little bit of a grudge against me. Which is kind of interesting. Because, basically, for starters, I didn't want to give away that a certain character was going to die in the episode. I did mention briefly there was going to be a death in there, so get prepared. And then a different character dies beforehand. That was the bluff. And the double bluff was that the other character who mentioned before was not going to die. I was like, well, I threw you off the scent, didn't I? Little did she know that I was throwing her off the scent of being thrown off the scent. And so after that she was like, wow, you actually... I'm crying at a gacha video again. As it turns out, Through Her Eyes did that as well. I forgot about that. So while I tipped my hat figuratively to Aiden, as for being the first to make Emily actually cry. Turns out, he was not. Then again, it might have been part of his performance that was the catalyst. Or it might have been Apex. I didn't ask too many details. Emily was already emotional enough at that point. You know, I was going to cut her a break. And then something else happened. The Rip in the Dark situation was actually I'd say not my fault, because you know that whole running gag that we have of me predicting the future in terms of I'll say a random thing as like an offhanded joke, or I'll quote a certain line that a character could theoretically say, and then occasionally, like mere seconds later, the video it actually happens almost exactly the way that I said. Yeah, that happened 3 times in Rip in the Dark for this one particular gag that wasn't even Emily's. I'm not sure why that was taken at such face value. Maybe that was because it was the same day that we did the Fallen Angels thing. But yeah, during that there was one moment where I'm not going to give away too much of what happens in the video, because obviously I would very much like people either watch the review of said video or the actual original. So essentially what happened was the bare minimum is that one character was asked to go and fetch some fabrics in order to transport another character who had been knocked unconscious. Well, actually, more like chloroformed unconscious, but still, same basic idea. And so that character went off, and at that point, BB, the dungeon master, comes in and goes, okay, you've got to roll for brains at this point. And so that happens, and then the roll happens to be very low. If you don't know how tabletop roleplay games go, sometimes you have to roll for a chance that certain things will go your way or will not. Which is a great mechanic, because I remember from my childhood playtime days that a lot of people would try and spin certain situations to their favor every time we tried to present a problem. It was always a little bit of an issue trying to introduce a little bit of conflict into the story that we were kind of improvising together, only to end up saying like, oh, well, guess what? I have this power now. I can just Deus Ex Machina myself out of it. I'm sure people know about the situation. So yeah, TTRPGs, they have that covered. Very, very useful. So yeah, you roll. So the roll that came out really low, which means that the character is going to have really low brains in that situation. So I, as a joke, made it a thing. Well, how on earth would this character end up not figuring out how to find fabrics? Would it be a situation of going like, oh, what even are fabrics or something? Like, what are fabrics? And yeah, that's exactly the same joke that the person playing that character came up with seconds later. So basically it goes, the roll happens, I pause the video, make the joke, oh, what are fabrics? Emily starts going, just shut up, what are you doing? Like, I was like, oh wait, it's happened again, hasn't it? This is about to happen. And then, sure enough, it did. Emily is in Rip in the Dark, by the way, so she knew beforehand. I did not. So that's the first time. I was like, wow, okay, well, I wasn't expecting it to happen for a TCRPG, but good to know someone thought along the same lines that I did. It wasn't even Emily's character. So, yeah, then some time goes by. At one point, again, BB says something like well, because she's narrating, so she says, your character is lying there on the ground, not being those huddled with your knees or something. So then I just go, I pause and go, fabrics, or something like that. To which Emily starts the chorus of shut ups again. I'm like, no way. And so, yeah, again, pretty much the same thing happens again. It was one fabrics, like, fabrics. So I was 2 for 2 at that point. And then at some point, I also made some other remark. And then Emily did the same thing again. It's like, just stop talking in general. And so, yeah, after that, I didn't see that really pay off, because it was essentially me going like, oh, as they walk into the sunset. It's kind of like the end of the video, and then Nova goes, guys, you still haven't told me what fabrics are, or something like that. Seriously, guys, what are fabrics? I think it was. We didn't get that far, but I am just going to say it's very likely to happen, considering Emily's reaction. And so after that, every single day since then, Emily has had, I'm still mad about the fabrics thing, Butterman in her bio. I was like, well, it's not my fault, it wasn't even your character. Why are you so annoyed? And I don't think there's a real answer. But it made her forget all about the Fallen Angels thing. So I guess that's something. You know, I suppose it's a case of, introduce new pain in order to forget the first element. I don't really know. But yeah, that just made the stream way more fun than it already was. Rip in the Dark, go check it out. I didn't actually finish the first episode because it was an hour and 20 minutes long. So I got about maybe 2/5 of the way through or something. So go check it out and learn what fabrics are. Okay, back to Drama Club. We've got a few minutes left. I don't want to go too much detail about the episode itself, but it's fortunate enough that we had a script already planned. I think I mentioned this in the past, that I had, because of what happened with Session 2 and how disastrous it was for Aiden particularly, and how it kind of demotivated him to carry on, and also because that's around the same time he got a job and then the whole schedule thing became complicated. We didn't really have a fixed time, so I was like, well, we should start doing this tomorrow, because he just mentioned, oh yeah, I haven't got any other videos to do or to produce yet. So I thought, well, okay, let's solve that then. Let's actually let's film another Drama Club. So I messaged everyone like on the day. So there's some people who couldn't make it, but fortunately enough, most could, even if they had other plans. It was also the day of that of the Coronation Bank holiday, which means that everyone was already, well, at least on the Brit side, was already at home. It didn't really matter too much in the end, because it ended up being the case that Aiden wasn't around until later, and he's the one person that we can't start an episode without because of the perspectives. Actually, I guess also nowadays Tori, aka Ghosty, because I keep forgetting that Tori also has a POV, which I should account for in the proceedings, because again, I try and make sure that every Drama Club episode, because it's two perspectives of people who frequently share screen time, I try to at some point just split everyone up so there's a little bit of a different aspect to the story that's going on that you miss out from the other ones. But it still works if you only watch one video, but you get more of a benefit for the others. That's the plan anyway. So we did that. I forgot about Tori's perspective, but it just so happened to work out also because of Craig. Now, no one tell Aiden this part, please, because we had a whole argument about the use of Craig at the end of the video, because Aiden has all the audio already there. But the thing is, there are some parts of the recording where we speak over each other, and Craig's multiple tracks are beneficial because of that. So there is a way to download multiple tracks without going through Audacity, which is what Aiden would have to do in that situation, and that's what I was trying to impart onto him. I was met with a lot of resistance, so I wonder how it's going to come across with the interruptions and people talk over each other in the actual video. I'm still have to sift through that, because that's what drained my storage. That was the unfortunate thing. Craig, unfortunately, meant that I had to remove tons and tons of gigabytes from my storage onto an extension drive, including the entire Musingolf folder, actually. So that was the drawback. That was what was setting me back for a while. But it's here now, so hopefully it'll make a difference in the end. But no one told Aiden that I said that Craig was a problem. So yeah, we've arrived at the end, it seems. I didn't talk about Drama Club in the end. Who knew? Stay tuned for the episode, hopefully coming out on Friday. And please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters, as we've done this already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.